Bumblebee. I
Hey, what is going on, guys? It is the SMT. Thanks for tuning in to watch this video. In this episode of the channel, we're going to take a look at some, I guess we'll say, reports from different wireless telecom analysts that are kind of putting together some alternative scenarios as to what could happen in the future with T-Mobile and Sprint, with or without the merger, or what things could happen in the future with cable companies getting involved with the companies and wireless. A lot of different things could occur. This is one that I found interesting, available online. I'll link this article in the description box. You guys can check it out later, but here's the highlights from this scenario. So the new T-Mobile might actually be a very attractive business opportunity for a lot of cable companies. Specifically, Jeff Keegan, he is a wireless and telecom analyst, kind of frames some of this for us. He says that the merger, because of its two key components, offers some really attractive things for cable companies. So here's the two things he's talking about. When you think about the new T-Mobile network, the two things are the market share increase that they would achieve when you combine the two companies together. It puts the new T-Mobile at about a 30% market share. That's a pretty sizable company. They're going to be serving a lot of wireless customers, puts them somewhere around 130 million subscribers. And if you think about it, that's a lot of revenue. So the other component, or the other piece, is the network synergies that creates this really capacitive, very high potential type of network where they could serve in a lot of different ways. You've got LTE, you've got a great 5G scenario with mid-band coming from Sprint, and then also the low band that's coming from T-Mobile. A lot of potential there for a great high capacity network. So in terms of a cable company coming in and making some noise and trying to get or acquire even the new T-Mobile, Comcast, Xfinity, potentially Charter and Spectrum, Cox, I guess a smaller company that could get involved potentially, and then Altice, also a legitimate player, as we've seen their name tossed around a bit with the merger trial. Anyways, many of the companies have lots of different wireless spectrums that they already have in terms of holdings that could potentially be supplemented to the new T-Mobile. Also, there's other things like infrastructure in the case of like fiber installation, other types of hardware. There's a lot of companies that have lots of Wi-Fi hotspots across the nation, networking, things like that. There's tons of potential network synergies. You think of residential application, you think of commercial, all the different things that the cable companies have in conjunction with what the new T-Mobile would offer has a lot of business potential. So Comcast seems big enough to maybe take this on. I think maybe a lesser extent the other companies. But you think about Comcast, they have a lot of cash. They have been in talks in mergers and acquisitions previously, dating all the way back to 5 or so years ago. Many cable companies are also going to be watching Dish to see what they do as an MVNO and the fourth national carrier. And I'm sure that a lot of them have doubts on if Dish is going to be viable or be effective as a fourth carrier. Maybe they slide in getting a similar MVNO deal on some extent. So we'll be watching that, especially if and when the merger clears and Dish operates for 3 years, for example. Do they want to get involved with Dish at that point after seeing kind of the show and prove period between, what happens between merger clearance and then what happens, 3 years from now? Because Dish can't do anything up until that 3-year mark as set forward by the regulations from the FCC. So, you think about mergers, you think about acquisitions, it kind of is merger and acquisition season. You think about the political climate and where things are right now. Things could be very different a year or 2 years or 3 years from now. Who knows? But of course, these are all legitimate options. I don't want to discredit this guy, Jeff Keegan. It's completely possible or plausible we could see more mergers and acquisitions even after a merged new T-Mobile company forms. So what do you guys think of this article? What do you think about these alternative outcomes from the merger? Do you think that there are multiple merger opportunities for T-Mobile and Sprint, maybe as the new T-Mobile, maybe each as their own standalone company? Which is the most likely scenario? I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. So drop me a line down in the comment section. And of course, you think about each of the companies, T-Mobile and Sprint, they're both pretty far behind to Verizon and AT&T, and no company wants to fail. They all want to win. So looking for an out that gets you involved with a company that has more cash and more potential synergies between the two companies is always going to be an option that they explore. Whether we as consumers like the companies or not, doesn't matter. These companies are always looking to gain the upper hand and have more market potential and have multiple revenue streams and make their companies bigger. So that's kind of my take. Those are my expectations. I think Comcast getting involved has the potential to work with the new T-Mobile or with a failed Sprint or with a T-Mobile company that wants to do more. I don't know. I could also see them kind of waiting off for a few years and seeing what happens with Dish. Those seem to be the most likely scenarios for me. But again, you may see it differently. You may see it in a completely different light. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, so drop me a line in the comment section below. Anyways, that's it for this one. If you could, before you guys go, please like and share this video. Share it to your favorite social media platform. Also, if you haven't done so already, maybe it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload from the SMT. And also check out some of the links in the description box. We got the Sneed Tech Twitter handle. We've got the podcast links. They're there. We've got the SMT Wireless Report. That podcast is on your favorite podcast platform. Check those links out. And there's some other stuff in there. So go ahead, look in the description box, Patreon page, stuff like that. It's all in there. Thank you guys for watching this edition of the channel. Much appreciated. I think I'll wrap it up with that. And hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.